Yo, it's good, guys. It's Tony here.
It's Jonathan. And Philip from ARKAI.
So, we have something special to share.
Yeah, we have a 9-track album called Synergy.
That's right.
Coming out on April 3rd.
And today we're going to take you behind the scenes, how we wrote it, how we arranged it, and just dive right in.
So the whole project started with ICARUS, right? Like almost coming up on 2 years ago is when we first started this whole idea together. I still remember it started with this like 60-second demo. We were out in LA at the time, we just discovered your music, and we were like, what would this sound like if we put kind of all the strings and all those layers of orchestration behind it?
And what's crazy is like the piano version itself, there's emotions that are like much more elevated with the orchestral, you know what I mean? I knew it was going to be special, like seriously, like what you guys did with the track is beyond expectation, you know? Like you added the perfect touch, you know, and your sound and your personality, and truly I think everyone loves it so much because, you know, it's you guys.
Well, we're just honored, man, that you opened yourself up to us and you let us work with your incredible music. So we just added our cinematic orchestral touch to it, and we're just so happy that the world loved that track because it really opened up the possibilities to do this whole album, and it's been, what a journey it's been, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it was like with each track, it started with the one, which was kind of set the stage for the sound and the scope, but it felt like as the project kept growing, right? It's like, oh, let's try 3 tracks together, right? That's when we had the first show in LA together. We had, I think, 3 tracks. And then it was like, what if we did 5, and then 7, and then 9? And it felt like as the project kept growing, it allowed us to continue flexing and just expanding the scope of what all these reimaginations together could be. And I feel like we hit some really fun versions of this cinematic, epic piano and strings arrangements.
Absolutely. I think what's really special is like both the personalities of ARKAI and what I do is present, right? It's really like 50-50 down the line, I feel. You know what I mean?
That's why it's
so is a true collaboration.
Synergistic, dude.
Exactly.
So synergistic.
It's
it was
a new
beautiful.
word right there. No word. I'll just...
So kind of like what Philip said, we started at the Troubadour in LA. That was our first show together. But then we went on tour together, right?
Mm-hmm.
We went all around the US, we went all around Europe.
Asia.
Went
to India.
We went to India. That was the first time in India for, I think, all of us, right?
Yeah, it was wild.
It was wild. Yeah. But it was like we would kind of preview, we would play some of these songs for the audience, and just to hear their feedback was so incredible.
And what's crazy is like the reaction's like very similar. You know, different continent, but you know, it's like certain tracks are like an audience favorite. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Icarus moves people. Yeah. There's like other songs, you know, we'll show you soon, but
like Desire.
Exactly.
Right.
You know,
Euphoria is always a hit too. People love that.
Yeah,
I think that's
absolutely.
I don't know. Do you guys have a favorite track from the record?
I do. My favorite track is probably, it's a sad one. It's called Grief. You know, and when we first met, that was actually an idea I had. You know, during that jam session we had, it's like, can we just try something with Grief, where, you know, Philip takes the melody and the cello, and we make like very moody, emotional, and that one's my favorite for sure. You know.
Isn't there a story behind that? Isn't that your mom's favorite?
That's my mom's favorite
song?
You know. Yeah.
So it like hits extra deep.
Yeah, that's actually the only song I perform in the set that makes me potentially cry. Everything else is like it's nice, you know, but Grief is like one that hits. You know what I'm saying? So
hits me too.
Yeah. That one.
When we created that song was stuck in my head for months.
Grief?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
It was kind of crazy. It's like that melody would just keep coming back, and it was really especially emotional to play that song. I don't know, perform that song together. Something about it.
That's my favorite one to perform with you guys as well. Yeah. That one and Rush of Life. You know, 2 polarized, very very different pieces. But no, I mean, it's been you know, with this album, what's really cool for me is the contrast. You know, we have pieces that give you adrenaline, like Rush of Life, pieces that, you know, really like put you in a state of grief, like Grief, you know, super emotional stuff like Desire, and then cool melodies like Icarus. So highs and low, fast and slow, So it's a good contrast, and it's very dynamic.
It's a big journey.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I think kind of that idea of the big journey, it points back to all three of our shared backgrounds in classical music.
Absolutely.
Right? That we have that shared lineage of going through conservatory and going through that incredible tradition of the Western European canon, and we're used to playing 45-minute Beethoven piano sonatas and 50-minute long symphonies, and having these pieces that are huge roller coasters of emotions. In some ways, it almost feels like this is us making our own version of symphonic pieces.
Yeah, and with our similarities in background, I think there's like a chemistry before even meeting.
Yeah.
Because we know the struggles of, practicing hours and hours, doing scales, it's not the most fun thing. And like just going to lessons, auditioning for conservatory, doing all that stuff. So there's a shared background, as you said.
A whole life, before we met, of doing that. And I think this album really honors that legacy.
Exactly.
Too. But it's also like looking ahead and imagining like, what does this music look like for the future too? And so I think it's actually really progressive and otherworldly in that way, and universal.
Yeah.
I think that's
accessible.
I think that's one of the most incredible things over this past year, not only of touring live, but also seeing how these pieces are taking on lives of their own online and on social media, is seeing the young people, those little kids who are so inspired, right? Seeing, sometimes they're on stage as special guests in performances, but like seeing an Instagram reel of a young pianist and a young violinist who probably, the string parts aren't published. I know your piano charts are, but they work those out by ear. There was a group of some kids who emailed us asking we want to play your version of Lost for like a local competition because we love this piece so much.
You have the orchestral sheet music. That's what they asked us.
Exactly.
Maybe we have to think about that.
We don't. But what's really cool about the music that we do is it's simple. The melodies are quite memorable, but the technique that we put in it. Like when you do staccatos on the cello or when you do vibrato, some stuff like that, there's still an element of technicality, So I feel there's a good balance between, people not coming from a musical background, they can digest the music, but also a musician can appreciate the level of craftsmanship we put into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a good balance between, both musicians and non-musicians.
I totally agree. It's both like accessible but incredibly deep as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Dude, but like ICARUS orchestral was pretty huge, right? And did you see some of those crazy memes and videos that were behind it? Like I think our favorite one.
Oh my gosh.
Was like, do you have?
Should we watch these? Yeah, we'll do a live react. Have you seen these ones?
Did you see this one? Did you know that during the Paris Olympics, President Emmanuel Macron of France used that when the French kayaker won gold?
Yeah.
I remember that feeling like, oh, dude, what a moment,
There we But then, of course, there were the other ones, like
Dude,
the wedding videos.
So funny.
That's a man who's feeling his feels.
Yeah, dude.
That's it right there.
Do you have the cat one?
Yeah. Oh, not that one. Here we go.
Cat hair does not stick to linen, dude.
And is the emotion is obviously most encapsulated by ICARUS Orchestral.
Dude, someone told me...
That's a really weird use of the song.
This one... Well, that one was, has 148,000 likes on it.
People love that track.
I think my dad said that at one point in time, I think that song was... You must have been the top, piano trending thing around the world. That top piano sound.
Chris?
Yeah, for orchestra. I think we were probably the top string thing.
Is it really?
Something like that.
Yeah,
that's kind of crazy to think about, actually.
I mean, what's cool about, ICARUS is it's quite ambiguous, it makes people feel certain things. Like, it can be used as, like a celebration when someone wins, gold at the Olympics. It can be used as a, walkout wedding entrance thing. That cat thing was a bit weird, but whatever. That works as well, I guess. So it's pretty cool, you know. And with this album, there's like so many tracks that can be used for like so many different things online. But for me, you know, I'm just really happy that we created something that I want to listen to. Mm. You know, and this is true. I don't really always write music that I listen back to, you know. But with this album, I genuinely will listen, you know, because I remember everything, you know, like going through the mix notes, going through the arrangements, hearing like the first demo for the first time, you know, or like performing with you guys. Yeah. It'll bring me back to like, you know, the memories we have. So it's a special album for me, for us. Absolutely.
Always will be part of this, man. It's like, what an incredible
synergy.
Incredible synergy and journey. Like, really special. Really special. Yeah. Life-changing, really. Truly.
So for our process is usually, you know, well, it starts with the, you know, the piano solo version, and then I will give like very little notes to them, because like ultimately I feel for me as a collaboration, I shouldn't affect their work too much, you know. Like my job is piano. I want them to really have as much freedom as possible. So I kind of just like, you know, make it more emotional or whatever. And then, you know, do your thing, and, you know, they do their thing, and then they come back with like the first version, and then we kind of start from there.
You really let us run wild and free, man. I think we really appreciated that.
Yeah, I mean,
not every collaborator does that.
Yeah, because it's not a collaboration if it's like 70-30. I think a real collaboration is a song that would not have resulted in that if we went separate. You know what I mean? Mm. So I don't want to create something that I could do. Like, I don't want... How do you say it? It's like whatever you guys do, I don't want to be able to do that by myself or with someone else. I want it to be ARKAI plus Tony.
Yeah.
Plus me. You know, and this is exactly what we got.
Yeah.
You know, we highlight the cello, we highlight the violin, the piano does its thing.
Yeah.
You know.
Well,
this is synergy.
Synergy.
Legit, you know, so that's why this album is really freaking special.
Yeah.
This is us, you know. There's no like ARKAI featuring Tony. It's not like Tony featuring ARKAI. It's like a combination of our sound, and no, it's fire.
Thank you for trusting us, man. I love it. It's awesome.
Thank you for liking my music.
Of course. It's easy to like. Well, so I think with ICARUS, I mean, your melody is so iconic, and it actually translated so well to the violet in this case. And I think I was like, well, what if we just start off by literally playing that melody on the violin? And so that's where we started.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, this is the opening melody, of course, that everyone who has heard ICARUS knows. And so at the beginning, we wanted to just let the melody speak. And so all we added underneath were just some really simple, right? It's just the color of strings, and in this case, it's kind of an ensemble effect, just giving yeah, right.
You have a minor second together.
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy.
And then as we kept going,
we thought, like, of course, the piano needs to speak first. You have to introduce the incredible melody.
Yeah.
And we start to grow.
And the fun thing with kind of orchestration, which is really the role that Jonathan and I had, was it wasn't just arranging for our solo instruments, but we were orchestrating all the colors of a full symphony, is that we can get multiple textures. And so we have both these long notes that are going, but also we have a little bit of the rhythm that's adding, which is adding the drama to
Absolutely,
it. Which is just so much fun. There's even some timpani rolls down there for extra drama. And of course, that's where Jonathan's first solo violin part comes in.
Joined by the orchestra, the strings behind her playing that melody. The cello also playing harmony. It's like clear development.
flat spot?
Can you solo that?
This is a counter melody that I think we wrote, right?
It's very nice. But this is what I love about what you guys do. You give enough to show personality, but not enough to like
Take
it's
over.
a bit too much. You know,
I think it's a really beautiful balance, right? It's like we added melodic ideas to what you were doing, but your melodies are just so iconic and beautiful. But so that it was really a really thoughtful, intentional thing on our part to try to figure out like what works, what actually lifts up your melodies. Yeah.
And that was the puzzle with each song. And I remember when Jonathan and I were in the process of kind of doing the first sketches or putting out the ideas, it was always that question of, is this helping enhance the original song or is this detracting from it, right? It's how do you make something better and not actually distract or pull away from it.
What Philip and I would do was, because your songs were all in solo piano, we would have your solo piano in the back, and then Philip and I would just be on the cello and the violin. And we would just kind of ideate with you. And so it was just kind of figuring out like, okay, what is leading? What is, enhancing? And then all the other stuff would come in after.
How much is... You guys do it all through improvising, right? You guys just like kind of have your instruments, you're playing the track, and you just see what sounds best.
I mean, we're not sitting down
Yeah.
on a...
Yeah, neither am I.
Yeah.
This ain't 17.
It's kind of like, it's really just like
Probably
being
not.
in the moment,
Yeah,
feeling things out, recording, and kind of ideating, and figuring out what feels great.
So how long, like for that cello melody, that we soloed, how long does it take you to arrive at that idea? Or do you like kind of just like improvise and that's like the first thing you go with? Or, you kind of like modify?
Yes, with some of these, like, because a lot of the time, the word that I would use to describe this, which kind of goes back to our roots, is counterpoint, right? It's, here's an original idea, maybe it's, the melody is going upwards, and so it's like, okay, something that's going to complement that might be going downwards, or while the piano is moving, this new line is going to be still, and then when the piano is still, then the new line moves, and so finding the thing that complements well. I think Jonathan and I do that very intuitively, because in a lot of ways when we write together as a duo, we're always having to bounce off of each other, and so now it was just the two of us doing that, bouncing off of the piano.
Yep.
So I think in this case, that was probably, I would say within the first three shots, we probably got to that.
Well,
some of the later ones took a lot longer.
I think Philip and I spent a couple of days just kind of ideating and figuring it out, and I think within a week or 2 weeks, like this thing started to like take form, and obviously we tinkered with stuff throughout the.
Out of all 9 tracks, this one was probably because I know we do a lot of modifications, but when you guys first showed me the demo of this, I was like, this is pretty close.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because some of the other ones, it's because some of the other tracks we're trying to like, take away. You know what I mean? Sometimes there might be too much in the beginning. We're like taking away counter melodies or certain productions and stuff. But like with this one, I feel like there was like just the right balance. Not too little, not too much.
Because your melody is so iconic. We're just like, okay, well that's what we're gonna do, and then we have okay.
It was also kind of like that beginner's luck. It was like, oh man, the first one actually came out right away.
And like between you guys, do you give notes on his cello melody? Do you give notes on his violin melody? Or like you guys kind of give your own space and be like, this is what I like? Or is like the other guys like, I think you could do this melody? Do you ever like give each other notes and stuff?
Totally.
Okay.
Or it's like, hey, right, Jonathan's like, I have this idea, and then I'll be like, oh, okay, I'll harmonize that and kind of mold my line to yours. Or it's like, yeah, no, that's too much. Or if you change that one note, we'll get a really nice rub right there.
So super collaborative.
Super collaborative the whole way through.
But the climax is really like all of us, and I love all the different textures and stuff. I think it'd be really cool to like, solo some parts for you guys to hear.
I was, particularly pleased with how this came out. This moment
That's
where
crazy,
it
dude.
feels like everything is just suspended.
That's something the piano solo doesn't do.
Exactly. All the extra tension of we have the largest, thickest orchestration up to that point, and then it all evaporates. It kind of feels like Icarus, right? He's flown way, way up, and suddenly looks like he's all alone, and then it opens up. But there's
It's magic. Yeah.
there's this contrapuntal motion, this part in the cello. That high B, and then it resolves in the most incredible, cathartic way.
That probably took you a few takes.
That probably took a couple times to find that.
I know how it is.
And this was a very big. That was kind of like, people think about the violin melody playing the main melody earlier on as like a big moment. That is a huge moment for the cello to kind of like shine.
The violin comes back in on the melody, but it's the additional layer that then makes the return to that melody feel familiar but also new.
And the final climax where it really builds.
Yeah.
Let's go to that.
It's right here. So again, we have the string is doing all the pads, but then we have all those. I think that's the fun stuff, is all these
Bridgerton vibes.
Yeah, absolutely. It works. Yeah, absolutely.
This is, I think, my favorite part of the song to play live is because we're playing along with your right hand. Bum, bum, bum.
It's such a different vibe when you solo the piano.
Right? That's so cool. The original.
Like piano, like the Icarus piano solo is like Icarus Light. It's like the non-alcoholic version, and this is like the real thing.
The full boozy.
This is the real fun.
This is the premium one.
Yeah, this is the premium stuff you get.
Right.
So for me, the most fun one to play live is Rush of Life.
But we've been playing it, right? We've been teasing it on tour even from last summer, I think. I remember the first time we added it to the set as like an encore or something, and it was like telling the whole audience, like, we have one more track. And the first time rolling this out was so much fun.
And I remember you coming to us and being like, hey, I have this new song, what do you think? And we had already done a lot of this album by that point, and
we're like, let's add another.
This one was
awesome.
We needed to do this one.
Yeah, it was like, I think that was we needed to do it. It was absolutely.
Insane.
And in some ways, the whole project would feel so different if this track weren't in it. Like, it adds such a specific flavor and character.
This one, Icarus was one, when you guys showed me the demo, I was like, this is pretty much close to finish. But like, in terms of which demo got me most excited when you showed me the first draft is this one. I was like, oh damn, this is like some Avenger thing going on. This is like insane.
Because the way it starts is like it's super epic. I think we're very happy about it. Yeah.
Because by this point, this was, I think, maybe the last track we did. At this point, right, we're 8 tracks deep. We felt so comfortable working with you, so it's just like, let's push the needle, let's keep going, let's make it even more cinematic, more epic. All right, let's roll the top of it.
Epic.
So much fun.
Awesome.
I think my favorite section in that whole bit is that soft part before we go back to like that melody,
Because again, it goes from the softest to the frickin' loudest, and that part's
and I feel like we should just in general for the album talk about form, because form is so important for a piece of music, because it can't be, at least for me, my vision of a song is, it needs to have highs and lows, fast and soft. It needs to like contrast, right? And with a piece like Rush of Life, it starts, with so much energy, but we can't really keep that energy for a whole 3 minutes. Might tire someone. Which is really why this soft part is so contrasting.
Yeah.
To the overall energy. Yes.
That's fun.
My favorite part, absolutely. The violin. mixing for a little bit, but you guys were happy with the mix. But for me, I felt I was like talking to the mixing engineer, like doing so many like back and forth, because I felt like it needed more and more energy for the very, very last part. So like started like adding sub, and like we need more fill. We need like, you know what I mean? It was like
Tony was like, this needs to be more epic.
Like, this is a top 3 favorite track of mine, and so I really went hard with my mixed notes.
I must talk about the end of the song, because it becomes really virtuosic in the strings. And it's like, it's the kind of thing like we're all just like going ham together.
That's so
that's
not
right.
easy to play this.
That's right.
Yeah,
the first time we actually had to.
It's like we had to. Well, not the first time we had to practice, but we were like, you know, like get ready for the show. We had to rehearse this a lot.
We did. And the first time we played this live, I remember right after we finished, all 3 of us were like, yeah, the click wasn't loud enough because we were rushing. Because it's hard. And so then for the future shows, we turned it up. Yeah, here we go. Let's crank this. All those really super rhythmic.
You know what we should highlight? You guys do like a really cool counterpoint.
Right here, yeah. Sorry, no, the other one, right? The other one. This one.
That was the.
That was it?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought there was the minor second.
When I first heard that bit, I was like,
yeah.
These guys went to music school, for sure, absolutely. So that
well,
was
because it's so fun, because going back to Forum, what you were talking about, is it feels like most of your songs already have they have like a couple of primary motives, right? Like there might be a primary melody and then like a secondary motif or something like that. And so it's kind of, again, the puzzle of how are we going to use these building blocks that you've already laid, and then how do we do fun, creative musical things with them to keep enhance the storytelling. And I think this was one of those sections.
Slight variations, or like just, you know, how do we just take it one level up?
That's very clever.
Yeah.
It's very tasteful. So this next one is probably the one that makes me cry. And remember the first time we played it together, I got very, very emotional.
Yeah.
And the part that really gets me is when the orchestra comes in. You know, in the beginning it's like you, and then Jonathan comes in, and then the whole thing comes in with the melody.
Yeah.
Can we just play that part real quick?
Absolutely.
That's the bit that gets me, man.
It's so good.
Dude, like, this is a piece I'll listen to till I die.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There really is a timeless quality.
I will not stop listening to this. I don't, like, if there's one piece, let's just say this, you know, I need to give away all my songs. Someone's like, you're forced to, like, give away all your songs, but you can keep one. I keep this one. Yeah. I give, like, get Chris, Rush of Light, okay, I'll be sad. But this one, I need to keep this one. This is, like...
This is your desert island song, man. We're all
exactly. Yeah. And that bit, really when I first heard, like when you showed me your first draft, that bit like really, really, really got me.
I remember the text. You said you were crying.
I was in London.
Yeah.
I was like, I think it was like 4 a.m. I was listening.
It's really powerful. I just remember when we were ideating, because you shared that melody with us, and then I mean, the nature of the melody and also the fact that it's called Grief, it made a lot of sense for the cello to take it for the first time. Because the cello just has this incredibly deep...
It's just a sad and
sorrowful, very, like, really profound kind of tone. And then so you guys together, and then the violin kind of joins with the, counter line. And then the orchestra comes in, which is that moment that you're talking about, and it like kind of like breathes this new dimension to the whole song. It takes things to the next level, and really it really touches the heart. Just amazing.
That's out of the whole album, like those few seconds. That's my favorite. Yeah. I have a lot of favorites.
But that's a good one because it's also so subtle. It's kind of like the floor just drops out from under you, and you just like just breathe. And there's a lot of epic big moments which are powerful, but this feels like one that just pulls you, and you don't realize it's gonna happen. And it's a really special moment.
And the arrangement itself, you guys did a lot of cool things. Like there's a lot of arpeggios that you do, right, Philip?
Yeah, this was actually one of the tunes that took a little bit more finessing and took some more ideas to get. Because also, this is one of the most unique forms within the whole record. This, I think, is the only song that has a true like metric modulation, right? Where the tempo, it gets suddenly faster.
That was tough for us. Yeah.
This is not an easy one to play live, especially the...
that
climactic,
the development and then like the metric modulation, but then when we hit the recap, when the melody comes back in this epic kind of form, so satisfying, so touching, so really otherworldly.
Yeah, let's listen to that spot. That's cool.
Do you want to play the metric modulation?
Yeah,
because it's really like. Yeah, that was unexpected.
The first time we heard it, we were like, "Whoa!"
Like, what do you?
And
we didn't know what to do.
One chord, I think it's
the B minor 7.
Yes, because the tune's in D minor, and there's this random scale, and it just kind of makes your hair stand on end. And that was a huge challenge of like
we were sitting there for like a while.
Do we harmonize that? What do we do? And the solution we ended up with was to W, and you just kind of have the whole ensemble doing it together.
It's really, really cool. Can we just hear that? Like,
just that spot?
That progression that you're talking about?
Yep. Do you want to go from the transition into it or just right there?
Let's go from the transition,
Cool.
It's faster here. This is the bit. Here goes up. When you say you guys doubled the piano, can you just solo that section?
Yeah, for sure.
Just did this.
So this is what you were doing. It just kind of feels like the world shifts upside down for a second, and we were really scratching our heads. So here's what we added.
Oh shit! Oh sorry. Oh shoot! Wait, can you solo the violin and the cello?
Yeah.
That's crazy, dude. Because
So
you're going down, you're going up.
Yeah, exactly. And then we land on just doing the exact same notes, but we're going there by opposite directions.
That's crazy. Oh, okay. So it's in unison.
The actual scale is in unison,
okay,
yeah.
It's in unison,
but the counterpoint right before that.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
And then we all resolve together.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's always like I think moments like that, right? It's really cool, and it's just like it's such a human touch, right? It's so unexpected, but it's those things that just feel like the unmistakable fingerprints of an artist, right? A real composer.
AA is not doing that.
Yeah.
AA is not doing that.
They're throwing in a random B minor 7 chord.
I hope not. Hopefully not. In 10 years, who knows? But I hope AI never is able to do that.
Yeah.
Can we check the crazy climax at the end where the brass comes in and stuff?
Oh, it's so good.
Can we solo your cello, your part?
Right here?
Because I think we should highlight what the cello's doing here.
Sure. So this is the big climax, and so
I'm doubling the main melody, right?
Yeah. So here's piano and violin by themselves. We can see that on the screen. underneath that, I'm just sawing away like a maniac.
That's very satisfying.
Some horns that are.
Yeah, the brass.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah.
On tour, that is one of the most satisfying spots. I just am absolutely wailing.
Yeah.
Fill a place. Goes to town.
Yeah. I mean, when you guys are when we're sound checking, that's my favorite bit when I'm like listening to you guys, sound checking this, because it's always like that bit isn't really highlighted. It's more of a background thing, right?
Yeah, it's supporting.
Yeah. Like when you really solo that, it's very special.
The next spot also is I always find super cool, and it's also one of the hardest spots on tour. It's this kind of second theme climax where the whole orchestra is just huge block chords while you are playing almost these Rachmaninoff.
Yeah, it's like the octaves. Yeah.
Totally Rachmaninoff. Like all that classical training. Casual virtuoso.
It was a nightmare recording that. But like performing this is probably the section that's most difficult to be on time for us. Right?
Yeah. Don't have to be like.
This is all like kind of free.
It's a little bit free.
A lot of rubato. But no. With our process, it's usually you guys adding on top of what's existing, right? With this song, with Pulse, what's different about it is it doesn't actually start like this for the piano, right? It's not like the piano does it like how it is, and then you guys are like adding stuff. This is all you in the beginning. So we played a lot with the form here.
Yeah.
With a lot of the other pieces, we stick to the original form.
Mm-hmm.
We're not really like changing sections, like moving stuff. But with this, we really changed the piece quite a lot, huh?
We chopped this one up a lot, and I think this one, at least from my perspective, was the hardest one.
Yeah.
This one took a lot of time to figure out how to get the energy right for it to work as a piece.
Yeah.
And also dynamically, because the original version of Pulse is already, you're playing with, octaves all over the place. It's already huge, and so trying to figure out how do we still keep that energy, but add to that.
Yeah, but this one had a lot of back and forth. Because as you said, how do we keep the energy high, but not bore the listener, right? You know what I mean? Because it starts off very intense. You guys are doing crazy 16 notes, very Bach, very Baroque, and then the piano comes in, and then the melody comes in. But let's just play a little bit about the beginning. This is your classical chops.
Your classical chops.
This is chords. Not yet.
I will say that beginning is one of the hardest things to play.
It doesn't sound that hard, but it really is really hard to execute well. Just being so super locked with you, without sounding too busy and all the noise and stuff. Man.
So when you listen to that, no blood, sweat, and tears went into making those 16th notes sound good. But this track, right, and I remember when you sent that text when you were like, hey guys, I feel like I want to do something different for this track, and I want to mess with the form, and what would it sound like if you guys took that opening riff, right, which is kind of, it's like an iconic riff, because this was one of the videos that went super viral for you.
Yeah, so this is, some people might know it as the car alarm song, but I wrote this in 2022 when I was living in LA. And, the car alarm, because, LA, the cars go off and stuff. I was just hearing the car alarm go off out my room, and I was like, why don't I write a song to this alarm? Because it's kind of like a metronome. So this is what, came out of it. But, I felt like the beginning could be so cool with counterpoint on the strings, And what I really like about this piece in the first, minute or so is it's very contrasting. The beginning's like very staccato, you know, very technical, and then it moves to like this very lush string, very lyrical melody, you know. So it's like very contrasting.
Yeah.
But still, in a way, keeping the same energy, different kind of energy though, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think, but with this one, this was also a later arrangement, and so we were getting very very creative with our choices of colors. If I remember correctly, this was one of the first tracks where we were like, it's so epic, we need to add choir. And so literally at the climax, I don't even know if you know that it's hidden in the mix.
I mean,
we have a full choir in there.
Let's hear that.
Yeah, here we go. This we were like, gotta be bigger.
Heard that counterpoint from you.
Yeah, listen to that. This is one of my favorite drops of the whole record.
Okay, yeah,
I mean, it's like an EDM drop, classical style.
Can you just solo violin and cello?
Yeah,
I just want to hear that real quick. You gotta thank your harmony teacher for that. You know, this is all the years learning about counterpoint.
Oh yeah, man.
Harmony, one, two,
music theory. It's all in there, and
That's
I think
crazy, dude.
It's a pretty epic ending. This one.
Yeah.
We were about to hit the choir. We just got to show off the choir in here, and just how much goes into, again, supporting the original piano melody, which is still in there. The original, which is already epic. Right, you're shredding with like full octaves, but then underneath that we have choir, brass, strings, percussion, sub bass.
Yeah, that's what it is.
It's like a very symphonic, classical sort of.
And I love
ending.
how the note kind of just dies at the end.
Yeah.
It's very confident and
This
badass.
one,
Yeah.
can you play the solo can you solo the percussion bit real quick?
In that kind of
I
climax.
just want to hear how it's.
Yeah.
What is it
So
doing?
this is the section. Those like stick clicks up top, timpani.
Oh shit. That's it.
Big timpani, and then gong.
Oh, there's a gong. Yo, there's a gong in here.
Yeah.
Listen to that gong.
That's crazy.
You need the gong, man.
I learned a lot through this process, and I learned a lot about what string instruments can do. You know, so I just want to take this time to just like thank you guys for being a part of this project and believing in the music, liking the music, and you guys truly make my pieces better. This is true. You know, so I appreciate you guys.
Hey, well, thank you for welcoming us into your world, man. What is more powerful when we come together? And like none of this is possible without the other, right? It's like two of us lifting each other up, three of us lifting each other up. But I think the world needs more of that right now. Honestly, the world needs more people coming together to create something beautiful. And this album, this music is incredibly powerful, hopeful, emotional, and so I really hope that people go on this journey that only music can convey, right? And it can really bring people together. Like it really is this synergy, and I think that is a really powerful message at this moment.
Yeah, and I just hope that people get inspired not only by the world of instrumental music, but also just this background that we come from. It's a rich tapestry of instrumental music on the piano, the violin, and the cello. And right, there are some of these communities, or some of this music, it can sometimes maybe feel like hard to find a way to get into that, right? How do you find your way in? And I hope that through this project, so many more people will not only discover music like this, but also develop an even deeper love for music like this. Sometimes songs without words are the things that can speak most deeply to our hearts, because we get to write kind of our own stories and find how they connect to our stories and our own experiences. Ultimately, I hope people have fun with this. Yeah. I hope they listen to the whole thing, go on a huge journey, come out the other side and be like, that really took me places.
And don't forget to practice your scales.
That's where it all starts. Many hours of scales.
Yeah.
Many hours. Our collaborative album Synergy is
out now. Thanks to all the fans around the world for your love and support.
Love you all.